And we are broadcasting to you from Barth and Graham Court in North Catholic High School for this special edition of the North Catholic Trojans Athletics podcast as we preview both the boys and the girls basketball seasons. And Ryan, let's start with the girls' seasons.
Yeah, both teams, boys and girls, are poised for another good season after both made it to the WPIAL Championship last year, both lost in a tight match in the championship games, unfortunately. But the girls, they're returning a lot of starters, Alex. And
they really are.
They're a confident team, and they're ready to go on a run this year.
Dacia Lewandowski, you got Alayna Rocco, Tori Drevna, Anna Waskowitz. You got so many returning starters and returning veterans that are poised to make this team a successful team again this year. As last year they lost in that WPIAL championship game to Mohawk, and that was a stinger for them. That really was a stinger for them.
And as you see in the upcoming interviews, they tell us that's fueling them this year. They're thinking about that game every time they practice, every time they play, and they're going to use that motivation this year. They want to get back and they want to win. There's some young players on the team. Alayna Rocco was a freshman last year. She'll be starting again this year. She's going to make another impact. As she was dominant last year as just a freshman, and they've got a lot of weapons on this team, Alex.
They really do. And as Coach Rottmann will say as well, it's not just that motivates them. These are a bunch of self-motivated girls that really are looking to put together a quality, solid, successful basketball team this season. And based on what they told us, they have the right mindset and they're ready to go.
Yes, they are, and they get started this weekend, Alex.
Yes.
In the She Got Game Classic in Washington, D.C. They start off with the game against Edison High School, and they play Newman Goretti as well up in their D.C., so good to get the season started against some two tougher opponents.
You want to talk about getting the legs moving in a tournament like this? There's no greater competition to get your season started than at this tournament. And they might get knocked around a bit, or maybe they'll stay steady. But Coach said it really doesn't matter as long as they get this competition and get a taste of some of these higher
she tells us
competition teams.
There's going to be some teams throughout the year that are going to be lesser competition than them, and that's why they're scheduling games against these really good teams, and they're getting scrimmages out of their actual regular season to get tougher games and build up their, confidence level and just to be able to go against these lesser teams and thrive.
And their first game, Ryan, is on December the 16th versus Freedom Area High School, and from there they're off to the races, and they're looking, as we said, for success, but success is expected of this team. You got Coach Rottmann there, who's been as successful as a coach as there is in the state over her tenure here at North Catholic, and she expects success not only from her team but from herself, and you'll see that in these interviews. But let's start by looking at the players. We're with North Catholic varsity basketball player Anastasia Peterson. Anastasia, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
After how last season ended, how has that motivated you guys to get back to the WPIAL Championship last year and this year be able to win it?
The motivation coming from last year, I think, is we have high standards of taking a win this year, and we've been working hard to come together as a team and take a win.
Why might this team be the team to be able to get back to WPIALs and win it this year?
I think this team might be the team to get back at WPIALs this year because we've been working hard to create a bond that's stronger than last year and make sure that we're all on the same page and understanding each other and pushing each other to their hardest to get where we're at.
With returning the amount of players that you are, what is the team's confidence level going into the season?
Our confidence level, I think, it's high. We've been pushing each other. We have confidence in each other, which is the biggest part when it comes to a team sport, is trusting each other. So I think it's pretty good.
The accomplishments of Coach Rottmann speak for themselves. But how has she influenced your career in particular?
Coach Rottmann's a big name when it comes to North Catholic basketball, but she's always taught us it doesn't matter if you're the best on the court, it's about the attitude and how to push yourself. So I think she's had a big influence on how we all play.
What personal goals or team goals do you have for the season?
Personal goal is to have a better season than last year and then come back with a win in WPIALs and states.
Well, we wish you all the best of luck in doing that, and thank you for giving us the time today.
We're here with North Catholic basketball player Alayna Rocco. Alayna, thank you for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you for having me.
Alayna, you really had a fantastic start to your career here at North last year as a freshman. But looking back on last season, what really sticks out to you as a great memory?
Probably just meeting the girls. Whenever I first came, they're like my best friends now, so it's really fun to get in the gym with them every day.
With how impressive you were last year, what do you hope to build upon in your sophomore season at North?
Probably my strength in talking more, leadership-wise. I was really shy last year, so hopefully to improve that this year.
You have some great leaders on this team. How have they impacted you and the team already in the early stages of this season so far?
Well, Dacia Lewandowski obviously is a great player, so she's helped me to improve my game even when we play against each other in practice. I think that it helps to make me a better player and also to make me a better person.
As a team, you guys had a successful season last year. How's that motivated you, made you guys hungry for this season?
Well, as we know, we lost in the finals last year, so we're looking to win this year.
Yeah.
And hopefully just
get back
have
to
a
that
good
point.
season.
Yeah. We always talk about what's next. So what do you hope is next for you to accomplish in your career?
I hope as a team and for me to win a state title. That's just always been a dream of mine, so hopefully we can accomplish that.
We'll wish you the best and luck in achieving that this year. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We're at the girls varsity basketball junior Dacia Lewandowski. Dacia, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Dacia, last year you guys had a very successful season, but you ended up losing the championship to Mohawk. How has that motivated you guys for this season to get back to that place and win it this year?
It definitely has fueled us a ton. I know everybody hates losing, especially me, and that loss I know is making us work 10 times harder in practice, and we're just pushing ourselves to the limits and hoping to get back there again this year.
How do you feel like your team has been gelling so far in practice? How have they been going so far?
I think we have a great connection, a good vibe, you could say, on the team. I feel that we're gelling together very well. We're all getting along, and that's all you can ask for in a team.
You guys are bringing back a lot of important pieces this year. How confident are you guys going into this season?
Oh, our confidence is sky high. Yeah. I know we're putting the hours in on the court in practice, and that's definitely going to reflect this season.
With this being your junior year, how do you feel coming into a leadership role this year, maybe more increased than last year?
I think it definitely did increase, especially coming off a loss last year. I'm taking it hard and personal because I want to win, so that's always my main goal. So I think stepping up as a leader again this year is definitely just helping the team overall.
How excited are you to get your season started this weekend in the She's Got Game tournament in Washington, D.C.?
Oh, my gosh, it is so exciting. D.C. is definitely a great place to play, and there's definitely going to be some good competition for us, especially leading into our section game coming up this Thursday.
The accomplishments of Coach Rottmann, they speak for themselves.
Yeah.
But how has she really influenced your career?
She has influenced me in a ton of different ways, on the court, off the court. She taught me how to be a leader even at a younger age. She also is just teaching the team how to be just great teammates to each other, which will help us not only on the court, but also later in life.
That's all we got for you. Thank you for your time, Dacia, and good luck this season.
Thank you for having me.
And we're here with North Catholic girls basketball coach Molly Rottmann. Coach, thank you for taking time to talk to us.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Let's start talking about, Coach, where you ended last year. Because it was a great season up until that final game in the WPIAL Championship against Mohawk. But what kind of taste did that leave in your mouth? And do you feel that loss has made your team more driven to reclaim their spot at the top of 3A this year?
Yes, I think so. I mean, that was a difficult loss. We had played them twice and beaten them. We certainly knew they were really a quality team and that we were going to have our work cut out for us. But I think, we were young overall, starting – 2 or 3 sophomores and 2 freshmen. Yeah. So I think that our nerves did kick in, and I had waited all year for that to show up, and it hadn't. And I do think it showed up in that game. That being said, I do think it has added motivation to all the returning players for this year. They really wanted to win that game. Unfortunately, with COVID, it was the end of the season as well, so there was no redemption after that. So I think that has been in the back of their mind in the whole off season.
You guys are turning a lot of starters. That give you guys confidence going into this year?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think another year of experience is going to absolutely help us. Unfortunately, Ava Walker is out. She tore ACL earlier in the preseason, so that hurts. But to have Dacia and Tori and Alayna and Anna Waskowitz, who came off the bench, come back with that whole experience and having played in the WPIAL Championship game and other big games is going to be hugely helpful this year.
You've built up a culture here of consistent success, but how are you able to maintain that through changing classes and heightened expectations as the years go by?
I think it's just a culture, and I think that the girls that come to play basketball and are on the team sort of know that coming in. We talk a lot about it, and I think that the returning players really do a good job of continuing that culture and working hard and setting the bar high in practice and open gyms. We also do a little bit of a big sister, little sister thing, which I think helps cultivate that gap with new kids. And you feel the support and you sort of see what the older kids are doing. And I just think it helps perpetuate, the culture that we would like to have. And I give the girls a ton of credit. They're the ones who really set the bar, and they come in every day and they compete, and you have to do that in practice in order to be good in the games, and they really do a great job with that.
Throughout the year, you find out who your leaders are. Can you speak to how important that leadership aspect is for a team?
Oh, leadership is huge. It for a variety of reasons, and I think that it does take a little bit of time for that leadership to emerge during the season. I can sort of see the kids now who I think are going to take on that role, and a variety of ways. We have some that will really do it by example. We'll have some vocal leaders. We'll have some that will be both, and they're all really important because you need those coaches on the floor during games. You need that leadership in the locker room. So I can't speak enough to the importance of leadership and finding those kids that are willing and able to do it.
Is there a time over the course of a season where you see who your true leaders are? Like maybe in the tough times, maybe in the good times. When is that time when you really know what you got with leaders?
Absolutely, and I think what's important for us and what I've really learned over the course of the years is it doesn't have to be by age or grade. You know what I mean? Just because you're a senior doesn't necessarily mean you're a leader, or just because you're a freshman doesn't mean you can lead. In practice, you see little things when someone goes over to someone and just says, hey, good job, or you'll be all right. Like those kind of little intangible things that I see, really click with me, and I'm like, okay, that person is going to be a calming influence. And you absolutely will see as the games get tight or we're having a rough spot, you will absolutely see the leaders emerge.
Throughout the season, you sometimes play lesser opponents. I know a lot of coaches don't like that term, but how do you keep your players focused for those games?
It is hard. Your games, you can make some of your schedule, and some of your schedule is given to you. So we just try to really focus on what do we need to do to get better. And we really want to be hitting our stride by February, right, as we enter into the playoffs. So if there's something we're working on, we just really try to focus on a game. If we feel like, if the score is getting out of control, then we're going to focus on, hey, this is what we need to really work on. But it is difficult, and that's why we have a lot of non-section games that are going to be challenging for us in our schedule.
You talked earlier about that the girls know the expectations when they come here to play. But is it more that pressure, or is it more the self-motivation that really shows out on the court?
I think self-motivation. I think that, as I look at the girls that I have currently and in the past, and we just have some really highly motivated individuals, both, and it shows academically and on the floor. Like they're just that kind of kid that they want to do well, they work hard, they put the extra time in. And then I think we have some kids that have joined for fun and social reasons, but I think that they're pushed and brought along by those kids that are really highly motivated.
Alayna Rocco was a freshman last year, played significant minutes. What have you liked about her play so far that's led to her getting those increased minutes?
Alayna comes with just a court presence that you can't really teach. She sees the floor really well. I kept waiting for her to have some nerves and some freshman moments last year, and for the most part she really didn't. She just has a confidence and an inner confidence. She's one of the quiet leaders. She'll work by example. We are trying to push her to be more of a vocal leader as well on the court, but she just does so many things so well on both ends of the floor, and just it's hard to take her off of the floor for those reasons.
What strides in her play, or have you seen, or you think you're going to see soon that she's going to make this year?
I think that she is going to be more of a vocal leader. Like we really were on her for that. And I see her talking more, and that's really important. That's one of the things we're really keying on this year. Just talking to each other on the floor, offensively and defensively, and I think that she's going to step up and do that. Her shooting has continued to improve, and she really has added different finishes at the hoop this year, so I think she's just going to really be a handful to guard.
You were talking about some of the things you've learned over your time coaching. But over your time coaching, do you think you've changed your philosophies in the way you coach, or do you think you're the same coach that you were when you started out?
No, I've definitely changed.
Yeah.
if you ask Kate, my assistant coach, who played for me like 16 years ago, and you ask the kids now, she'll tell you I'm a completely different coach. I think that as I've gotten older and I've had kids of my own, I have softened up is probably the wrong term. If you ask some of the girls, I'm not really overly soft, but I just have realized that they are teenagers and there's a lot going on in their lives, and it's not basketball is the only focus, and that has helped me just have better relationships with them, I think, overall. And I think that you have to change what you're doing to stay current. So, we do a little things differently offensively and defensively, but I would say overall that I probably have relaxed a little bit as I've gotten older.
Is there a certain identity that you want your team to take on this year?
Yes, I would like us just to be ferocious. I would like us to get after it offensively, get after it defensively. I really want us to get up and down the floor. I want us to have that communication on the floor where you're talking all the time. I want to have great energy from the bench. And I think all those things, we just had a scrimmage last Saturday, and I was really happy with the energy on the court, and I thought that we played in that manner. I'm super excited about getting started this weekend. I think we're ready to have the season begin.
And speaking of this weekend, you start down in D.C. at the She's Got Game tournament.
Yes.
But what are your expectations for that?
We will see two very good teams. We're playing Edison from Virginia, who won the 6A state championship there 2 years ago, and then we play Newman Gretty from Philadelphia on Sunday. And they're both going to be really good teams with talent. They will get up and down the floor. I got to see a little bit of film on them, and it just will be a different type of basketball. And I'm excited to see how we do against them.
Yeah.
So we mentioned Alayna Rocco. What other players do you see stepping up and making a difference this year?
Dacia Lewandowski, absolutely. This is her third year with us, and she just does so many things so well. She sort of is the captain on the floor as far as running the offense and getting the girls together. She currently is that person that is doing most of the leading. And she's like having another coach on the floor, which is great. So I see Dacia continuing. She was one of our leading scorers last year as well, and I see her continuing, and her on-the-ball defense is like nothing else. So I anticipate that from her as well. Tori Drevna has really improved her game as far as just becoming more two-dimensional. I mean, she can shoot with the best of them, but she now has added going to the hoop. She's added some defense. So I feel like Tori's going to be a big contributor as well. And then Anna Waskowitz is sort of going to be like our utility person. Like, we don't have any bigs, so she's going to be the girl we rely on to get the rebounds. And she has proven that. Like, she's shown us that's what she's able to do. She has a nose for the ball. She gets to the loose ball. She's tenacious. So I think Anna is going to contribute in a lot of variety of ways. And we have a freshman, Sarah Loffrey, who will be a contributor as well. She's a lot of fun to watch. She sees the floor really well. She gives us another option at point guard. And Anastasia Peterson and Karis Mundy as seniors, I think, will give us that experience and will give us some depth.
How do you navigate the minutes when you have as many talented players as that? Like, how do you allot those minutes? Does that change based on who you play or how the season goes?
I feel like, it sort of goes as the season goes, and the speed of the game, and just sort of keeping an eye on the fatigue level and that sort of thing. I think this year with the rotation we have, I think that everyone will have more than enough time to go around, so I don't think that will be an issue. And we might need some other people. Like, I think we have Caitlin Tavella and Riley Curtis on the bench and stuff that they can come in and potentially help us as well.
So you've been with North Catholic for a long time, both as a player and as a coach. How special has it been to be able to coach at the school that you played at, and how awesome has it been to get this be as successful as you have been?
Oh, it's awesome. It really is. If you would have told me that I would be here and I'd still be here after when I was a student here, I would have said that seems crazy. But I got to play for Coach Barth, who was amazing. He helped me out my first couple years too, and to be able to coach with my dad this long as well has been amazing. Yeah. But to be at the school where you played, and in all honesty, I really always want to make Mr. Barth proud. He started this program and did such an amazing job. And I was proud that I was given the opportunity to continue to do that. And I'll do it as long as it continues to be fun. And I think I'm doing a decent job at it. So, you never know. It's when it's time to go, it'll be time to go. But right now, it's still a lot of fun, and it's great that my kids have gone through here. And Max is playing now. Hans has graduated. I have 2 more in grade school. So, I love North Catholic, and it's just been a great opportunity for my whole family.
Well, we really think you've done a great job as a basketball coach, and we appreciate you giving us the time today.
Thanks, guys. This is great. I appreciate you having me.
And you just heard from Anastasia Peterson, Alayna Rocco, Dacia Lewandowski, and Coach Molly Rottmann of the girls' basketball team. But now, Ryan, let's talk about the boys' basketball team. New coach, same expectations.
Yep, Coach Rocco's coming in here. He's an experienced coach. The team and players aren't expecting any drop-off this year. They're ready to go, and they lost a couple good players in Michael Ammerman, but he was probably arguably their best player on the team last year, but they're returning some guys also.
Yep.
You got Max Rottmann, who's coming back. He was a good three-point shooter last year. Expected him to see increased minutes. Matthew Gregor's a good three-point shooter as well, so expect him to make some minutes, Alex.
Max Hurry, too, sophomore this year, freshman last year, and he got some minutes on the varsity team last year, but he's going to even get increased minutes this year, as you said, with the people that they lost last year, paving the way for him to get some more time. But he's earned that time as he's a heck of a player. But you also got Matt Gregor in there, as you mentioned. But you got some guys that have really stepped up, as we heard in these interviews that you're about to hear, in the leadership positions that Coach Rocco is really excited about.
Yeah, we mentioned leadership. He said you don't always find out who your leaders are at the beginning of the season. You can notice a little bit now, but some have to develop. I mean, younger players probably don't as much as the leadership role. Maybe they lead by example, but a lot of the older guys are more vocal leaders, and they're any team needs leadership when you want to be successful.
Absolutely, and he's also a guy that he's willing to give and take with you as a coach. He said he's not afraid if the players have a little back and forth and get a little upset. Yeah. He wants to see that emotion from his players. Tenacity was the word, as you heard from Coach Rottmann there at the end. She wanted some tenacity from her players too. But Coach Rocco is really saying that's going to show in our play. Tenacity. What do you think about that?
I thought it was awesome. I think, as he said, they're on a mission this year.
Yes, mission.
Taking it one game at a time, one step at a time, getting better each day. And as the players told us as well, if they come to practice every day, they work hard, they're going to get better, and that's their goal this year.
Speaking of mission, let's hear about that mission. Matt Gregor will start us off. We're here with the boys varsity basketball senior, Matt Gregor. Matt, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited about this.
Matt, after losing the WPIAL championship last year, how has that motivated you guys to get back there and win it this year?
Just keep working hard. I mean, last year we worked hard. Obviously, it stinks to come up short, but just got to put it behind you and keep working for it. That's what we're doing every day.
Well, you knew you were coming into this year. You're losing some key seniors. You're getting a head coaching change. What was the perspective that you were taking coming into this season before it even started?
I mean, I was excited about it. I love Coach Rocco. I mean, and the young guy. Obviously, I had great friends last year, the seniors, but I mean, hard work every day. That's what we're focusing on right now. And if we keep working hard, we should be okay. We'll keep working for it. So.
Yeah.
What have you noticed about the energy and confidence level in practice so far?
Energy is always up there. I mean, we can balance having fun while also learning and keeping our work ethic up, which makes it a lot of fun to practice.
With Coach Rocco manning the helm this year, how have you guys molded so far in practice?
Same type of thing. It's still fun, and we'll get there. Like I said, we got to keep working hard if we want to accomplish what we're here for. But I mean, we're keep putting out effort into the mission. Coach Rod keeps talking about the mission.
Yeah.
I mean, we're having fun along the way, but got a lot of work to do. But hopefully, we'll get there.
You talked about you have a mission this year. What accomplishments are on that mission?
Hopefully, I think individually everybody gets better, and then because a part of the mission is to how do I word this? Part of the mission is to everybody individually put in how they work with the team to make the whole team successful as a whole. So I mean, there it is again. Just make sure everybody's working hard, just so we can try to do what we can.
Yeah. I'm sure Coach will be proud of you for that explanation. Well, with this being your senior season, do you feel like a heightened sense of urgency maybe to be successful this year?
I mean,
or is it just
I haven't
same
really
old?
thought of it like that, but I've always had that sense of urgency to try to win.
Yeah.
To me, winning is very important, but to do that, I mean, I keep saying this, but it's just getting in the gym and working hard every day.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt, for your time, and good luck this season.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
We're here with North Catholic basketball player Tommy Molenda. Tommy, thank you for taking time to talk to us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Tommy, this team has had a lot of success, especially recently with making it to WPIALs. How is that success going to be able to continue this season?
Right. So the last 3 years I've been at North, we made the WPIAL championship every single year. Yep. We have had a coaching change this year, but I expect that change to go seamlessly. I expect the success to transfer. All the guys that we had on our team this year, most of them were on the team 2 years ago when the team won the WPIAL championship, and they saw like the joy and excitement that it brought those guys on the team, and they saw the state championship get cut short, so they are motivated to make those success happen again in the WPIAL championship and then pick up where they left off in the states.
So far this season through practices, what have you noticed about the confidence level of the team?
Our energy has been great. We've been working hard. I have the utmost confidence in the guys that we're going to get it done this year.
What makes this team the team to get back to WPIALs again and win this time?
Like I said, our energy has been great throughout these first couple weeks of the practice. We've been playing really well all through fall league. I think I'm confident.
What goals do you have for yourself and the team this year?
Personal goals, I don't have too many of in the terms of awards or accomplishments. I just want to do whatever my team needs me to do to result in us winning games and going deep into the playoffs.
And that's all we got for you today, Tommy. Thank you very much for joining us, and have a great season.
Thank you, guys.
We're here with North Catholic basketball player Ian Palmer. Ian, thank you for taking time to talk to us.
Thank you for having me.
And through your first couple practices this year, how do you feel the team has been gelling so far?
We've been looking pretty good. We've been maintaining the intensity that we had last year, and it seems like we've actually increased our pace of play, and we're looking good.
What would you consider to be the team's identity this year?
The team's identity this year is just to be as strong as we possibly can be, and run it fast, and kind of like you said, just gel as a team.
What makes this team have the potential to be great and have a great season?
The fact that everyone on the team just trusts each other, and how we can everyone on the team has the ability to score, so we all really just give the ball up and we pass between each other really fluidly.
Being a senior, have you seen yourself stepping into more of a leadership role this season?
Yeah, a little bit, especially with the increase in younger guys this year, as we have a few seniors and a few juniors and a lot of sophomores and freshmen, so yeah.
With Coach Rocco stepping up to be the head coach this year, how has that impacted the team so far, you think?
I think it's impacted the team in a positive way. We seem to enjoy each other, and he fits right in, and it seems great.
Ian, thank you for taking time to talk to us. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
We're here with boys varsity basketball coach, Coach Rocco. Coach, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Coach, how hard is it to take over a team with the success that North has had over the last couple of years? Do you feel any added pressure?
No, not really. I'm just honored to even be asked to do it. Coach Gregor and I have been good friends for 20-plus years, and I've been connected tangentially with North Catholic, being good friends with Coach Rottmann forever, and coaching her kids when they were little. So now I'm honored, and it's just a great privilege to be here.
Taking over after Coach Gregorio, what can you say about the culture of the program right now?
I think it's just sort of, we're just going to continue what we were doing. I think it's the culture of North Catholic, really didn't begin with Coach D. I mean, it's been here a long time, going back to Coach Graham. And interestingly enough, the first game that I ever coached 31 years ago was against Coach Graham at North Catholic.
Wow.
So it's a culture that's entrenched in honor and pride and faith and just toughness. I mean, if you think about where North Catholic started in the north side of Pittsburgh on Troy Hill, and we're just trying desperately to just instill those values. That's all. And I think what you're going to see with the group that we have, and as we move on, it's just a level of toughness. It's a level of grit, and in fact, our thing, and all teams have a thing, right? And our plan is basically to be the tougher basketball team.
And what happened in that game against Coach Graham?
I'm going to say that we won.
Okay.
I was with Penn Hills, and we were pretty darn good.
Yeah.
So I'm going to guess that we won. But I use the word honor a great deal, and I was when I knew Coach Graham's history and going into that, and just so fortunate to start that way. And I remember spending a great deal of time speaking with him before the scrimmage, and just trying to learn as much as I could.
Yeah.
And he's such a legendary figure, not only with North Catholic but with Pennsylvania State basketball.
This year, Coach, it won't be as much as a COVID year as it was last year. Do you find it easier to schedule and, I guess, become more of a team this year than it was last year?
Much easier. Things have changed, with vaccinations and things like that, and the comfort level that we have now. It's been much easier to prepare. It's now much easier because of the experience that we had last year to sort of prepare for the unknown, because we've been there a little bit, and there's an expectation that things might happen, and I think our guys are very resilient, as most players are throughout the country with this, but it has been different and a welcome difference.
What is the identity that you want your team to take on this season?
Well, like we mentioned before, I think it's toughness.
Yeah.
I think we are conscious of who we are, and I think the good thing about this group is that we already know who we are, and so we don't have to take a look at opponents and try to figure things out as they go and who we're competing against. Look, we are who we are. We're going to play hard and fast, and if the other team can adjust to it, and if they're good enough, we may not come out on the positive end. But I think that toughness, you're going to see it prevailing throughout how we play offensively and defensively.
With some talented seniors graduating last year, what do you notice about some of the younger guys maybe stepping up so far in practice?
Yeah, we really had sort of Matt Gregor was really one of our only, I guess you could call him a part-time starter last year. But he played valuable minutes. And, you look at Max Rottmann and Andrew Madelon. Played big minutes for the team last year, and luckily, because of the tradition that we have and the preparation over the last couple years, we have some great young guys that are so competitive and understand the game so well. We've got Liam Straub, who is valuable to the football team. He'll be able to step in and be of great value with us. And the one kid that I think everyone in Western PA is really going to enjoy watching play is Ben Tomer. Ben really has come a long way. Even when I got here last year, I thought the kid could be pretty good. But I think what you're going to see this year is a young man that really understands how to play, not only in the low post, because he is a sort of a big guy. We call him the Bear.
Yeah,
that's
bear.
When you'll hear us constantly yelling, "Feed the Bear."
Yeah, don't poke the bear. If you're the other team, you don't want to poke the bear too.
But Ben's a great passer. Ben can really shoot the three. Ben does a lot of good things that fit well into what we're trying to do offensively. So Ben will have a tremendous year. So we've got some guys that people don't know about, but they will.
On-court communication seems to be important in almost every sport, and you can speak to how important that is in basketball, like on-court communication.
Oh, sure, and we talk a lot about having a conversation with the game. I think one of the misnomers of basketball especially is you hear a lot of kids that'll yell ball, 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 ball and things like that. And we really don't talk about it that much. We talk about having a conversation and talking your action constantly. So you're 100% right. Communication is such a key. And I think what you'll see with us, there's going to be a lot of back and forth and a lot of teaching and learning throughout every moment of the game. I've been a classroom teacher for a long, long time, and I've grown up valuing that relationship between students and especially student athletes. So the level of conversation that we will have will be fun to watch, because you're going to see a lot of give and take. I am not opposed to players getting on me, and I'll give it to them a little bit as well.
Sure, yeah.
So that you're 100%. Communication is just everything with any sport, especially hoops.
Can you speak to how important leadership is for a team, and have you seen any players jump into that leadership role this year?
Yeah, I think what we try to do is define what leadership is. So many people think leadership is just talking, just modeling behavior. What we've done is we're putting the challenge on our guys that have been here to help those yet to come, like young freshmen. The sophomores. So we'll have a sophomore this year that'll play significant minutes, and Max Hurry, very good player, but he just doesn't know. So it's Ben's responsibility, it's Matt Gregor's responsibility, it's Max Rottmann and Andrew Madelon's responsibility to help them along. So we've tried to define that level of leadership, and I think what you're going to see with this group is more of the idea of a servant, being a servant leader, which fits perfectly into the values that North Catholic and Catholic education across the country instills in people.
And you talked about the underclassmen, some of the people that maybe didn't get full-time starting minutes last year. How did that taste of success last year, getting to the WPIAL championship game, and that loss really make them really even more hungry to get back to that spot this year?
Well, it's always helpful when you're sitting there or you're in the fray and you're experiencing those moments, because those moments are difficult to replicate.
Yes.
As you go through fall leagues and scrimmages and even early season play. So they have that taste within them. And luckily for us, we have a number of kids who have played significant club basketball with Andrew Madelon, Ben Tomer, Max Hurry, Max Rottmann, all played for one of the best, quote, AAU programs in the area, PK Flash. And they had a generous amount of success on a big stage. And it's just really getting guys to be comfortable on that stage. And it's definitely, playing in that game against Lincoln Park last year and being there, it definitely helps. But look, it's all a matter of what you do now that matters.
Would you consider your team a more offense or defense focused team this year?
Look, I would consider us a pressure-oriented team.
Yep.
Offensively, we are trying to put pressure on everybody. Defensively, we are trying to put pressure on people. So I think what we hope to see is really a flow and sort of a bit of perpetual motion between offense and defense, where we're just playing the game. You know, I don't think you're going to be able to put a thumb on one particular aspect offensively and defensively of who we are. We've been very conscious of creating that pressure flow of the game. I think we're a very difficult team to compete against because of that flow. Like, we play incredibly hard. I mean, and for 32 minutes to keep up with that pace is very difficult for people.
We were talking to Matt Gregor, and he was talking about your message of the mission for the team this year. And tell us about that. Tell us about what's the mission.
Well, I in my life, that sort of comes from my experience with my son, Zach, who is in his second year at Army West Point and plays for Army West Point. So I've sort of learned to appreciate the mission even more. I mean, this will be my 31st year doing this.
Wow.
And I don't know if I've ever appreciated the opportunity for teams to just take care of what you need to take care of on the basketball floor with respect to the mission that I have more than now. And, you know, when we talk to Matt and Tommy and Ian, you know, we have to understand who we are. Like, simply little things like, you need to understand whether you can shoot the ball or not. You need to understand whether or not you're a great rebounder. And so everybody has to
know their role almost.
You got to do your thing. You know, we want pilots flying planes, right? And we kid around with them. We want tank operators driving tanks. We don't want tank operators flying planes. And so we just do that, you know, that little mission talk, so everybody understands, look, when we tip it off, we're going to do what we need to do in a respectful, ethical way and get it done. And that leads into toughness. Toughness is not simply running around and pumping your chest all the time and rolling around on the floor. It's more about it's thinking, it's owning decision making, and that all leads into taking care of the mission.
Thank you, Coach. That's all we got for you, and good luck this season.
I appreciate it, guys. Hope to see you there quite a bit.
Yeah,
Thank you.
And you heard from Matt Gregor, Tommy Molenda, Ian Palmer, and Coach Rocco of the boys basketball team. And with that, Ryan, that concludes this special edition of the North Catholic Athletics podcast. But we've got a couple dates to set up for the basketball teams. Our first games that will be televised as a part of Trojan Game Day broadcast for the basketball teams will be on January the 3rd.
Yep, as the boys host Erie Cathedral Prep, and the girls have Mohawk.
Big-time rematch of the WPIAL championship game, a rivalry matchup that has been brewing in the minds of North Catholic since they played them back in May, and that'll be an exciting one to come back to.
And on January 8th is the Dawn Graham Classic as both teams host Pine Richland.
And that'll be another great matchup too, Ryan, and they'll all be here on the North Catholic Sports Network as a part of our Trojan Game Day broadcasts. And with that, thank you for joining us today, and without further ado, we are your home for North Catholic Athletics.